So hey everyone, and good morning. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to mix up the format a bit. I decided to do one of those videos where you walk around and you talk to the camera, because for some reason YouTube likes it when old dudes like me walk around and talk to ourselves, which is weird. But anyway, I just found out that the OG pioneer of what I'm trying to do with this channel is none other than former US President Ronald Reagan. And when I heard that, I had to go out and get some air. Now, when I talk about what I'm trying to do with the channel, what do I mean? I first got interested in disinformation and propaganda after the 9/11 attacks. I was in New York when that happened, and it was horrible. And people I care about are still affected by it to this day. And when I watched politicians exploit that tragedy to garner support for attacking a country that had nothing to do with it, I got angry. And then I started researching disinformation and propaganda, and I got really angry. It turns out that propagandists have been recycling the same tricks and lies since, like, the Bronze Age. And we keep falling for it. And that makes me crazy. And that should make you crazy too. We all need to learn how to spot propaganda, and more importantly, we need to learn what it does to our brains when we're exposed to it. And that way we can resist it. A good place to start is this video up here. We may not be able to keep propaganda from working on people, but at the very least, maybe we can force the propagandists and disinformers to learn some new tricks. Imagine my surprise when I learned that the first guy to attempt this approach was Ronald Reagan. In 1981, the Reagan administration founded an interagency effort to combat Soviet disinformation called the Active Measures Working Group, and everybody was involved in this. The FBI, the CIA, Department of State, Department of Justice, US Information Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, a couple I probably forgot. Ooh, that's a lot of eagles. I think this is a record for the number of eagles in a YouTube video that's not about eagles. The Active Measures Working Group didn't just debunk individual bits of Soviet disinformation and propaganda, although they did do a lot of that. Their innovation was to focus on teaching people what disinformation and propaganda looked like and how to spot it in the wild. Their first educational effort was a 4-page explainer on Soviet disinformation and propaganda tactics, which they made available to journalists and congresspeople and heads of government agencies. And then when the time came to debunk a particular story or ask Congress for more money, they could simply refer back to this information that they'd already sent them and save themselves valuable time and energy. I will link to that document in the show notes. They also sent teams called truth squads into countries where the US and the Soviet Union were competing for influence. These truth squads would educate local government leaders on how unchecked propaganda and disinformation could affect their societies. And these efforts were wildly successful, mostly because their presentations were not partisan. They were strictly educational, and the people appreciated the help, basically. The Active Measures Working Group in the end was a massive success. By 1987, the Soviet Union had been forced to walk back several truly sensational claims about the United States, including that AIDS was a bioweapon designed by the CIA to wipe out America's gay and black populations, and that the KKK was going to assassinate athletes from Africa who came to Los Angeles to compete in the 1984 Olympics. So right now you might be asking yourself, why'd they stop? Why didn't they make these powerful critical thinking tools available to the general public of the United States? Why aren't they part of every school curriculum in the country? I don't know. I have my theories. You could share yours in the comments. But what I do know is that learning how to spot and resist propaganda and disinformation works. And that's why I'm going to keep doing it here on the channel. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Ronnie. And it is more important than ever to learn how to do that, because it's not enough to tell people to just go get your news from a credible source anymore, because so many credible sources right now are under extreme legal and financial pressure to promote a certain point of view. We're on our own. Okay, so what do you think? Should I do more studio videos or should I wander the streets and talk to myself some more? Let me know in the comments. As always, links to all the sources and elements used to create this video are available in the description, and thanks for watching. Oh God, all these normal people just trying to go to work or whatever, and I'm wandering around a skate park ranting about a dead president. That's totally normal. Totally normal.